Guys, we are almost live in 2025, still 2024, as I am making this video. Gonna be stream on Insta as well for today, and we're gonna talk about a couple of things. 2025 and goal setting and change. How does that really happen? Is the question, because most of you will miss out on your goals, and the brain is interesting, right? Because it think in terms of space time, and we think that we mastered goal setting and goal achievement, but it is obvious over the years that it takes a lot of time, most of the time, to create gigantic change in one's life. Right. The first thing is that you need to moonshot when you come up with goals. As I've written on my LinkedIn today, if you if you moonshot, odds are that you will find that yeah, it's hard to reach your goals, but that is normal. Why do you need to moonshot at first? Because if you want to lose weight, let's say that you're fat, right, and you want to lose weight, you will end up just looking normal if you're like most. If you're like, I want to bodybuild, right, and I want to look friggin' good naked, then this will have you reach amazing goals. You'll probably reach like in between. It's really hard to reach a moonshot. And if you do reach a moonshot, then your goals are probably not hard and high enough. You're probably kidding yourself, right? So if you want to bodybuild and you're fat, let's say, you'll probably end up being 7 or 8% body fat at the end, which is pretty good, right? Yeah. So I just want to lose fat. Just want to. That is a synonym with survival, right? That's the message you're sending to your subconscious. So stop like just going with basic fucking goals and instead go for an extreme change is what I would advise. The second thing here is that if you are going for extreme goals and moonshot goals, well, you'll need to be patient, right? Because these doesn't happen overnight. A goal might take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to happen. Initially, when I was a young entrepreneur, about a decade ago, I used to set goals and they were pretty big. And every time that I would reflect on my year, I'd be like, shit, I'm progressing really slow. But that's because I moonshotted, right? And reaching a moonshot is almost impossible. Only now, 7, 10 years in the future, am I starting to realize that like these goals of mine are becoming a reality. So just like in a marathon, you need to be really patient. So set moonshots, but don't necessarily torture yourself if you're not reaching these goals. That's like an important thing. And this video is for high performers, right? It's not for normal individuals. If you want a big change in your life, that's probably what you need to do. By the way, moonshotting, it takes balls, right? It almost takes like megalomania to want a billion, $1 trillion, right? But if you set it out there, the cool thing with your subconscious is that it works in the backstage, right? The brain, that it's like a computer, right? It's a GPU, and in the backlog it keeps on thinking about things and solving shit. So that is the magic of moonshot. I gave the example of losing gold. Another goal that I often see that is not a moonshot, right? Is like, hey, I want to make 100K per year, or really small fucking goals like I want to make 1K MRR. Like that won't lead you anywhere. I understand the philosophy behind that. It's like, oh, checking the box, so I reach my goals. But when you're a high performer, I mean, I reach so much goals in this life that I don't need these micro ticking box of motivation. What I need on a daily basis is to check micro tasks, right? Like, oh, do this content, do this video. But yeah, I don't need these micro boxes. So if you're like, hey, I want to do 100K per year, you'll probably end up like doing 50K, which is pretty weak. So instead, moonshot, like go for 1 million as a goal. And of that million, you might make 250K, 500K per year, which is very decent. It's like definitely being rich at this point. Uh, if you're living in a country like I am living in, like Mexico, because if you live in Canada with 250K years, pretty average, or US. Um, it's like going in a fight, right, with someone and be like, oh, I'll spare his life. No, you need to go extreme. If you go in a street fight or if you are defending someone, you go with the intent to kill. You don't go with the intent of like, oh, I might spare him oh, I'm just gonna defend my close ones. No, you need to go with full intensity, and that is the difference between people that lose fights and people that wins fights. It's very much a mental thing. It's an energy thing, right? You need to condition yourself to be extreme in your goals so that your actions can follow. So that is the first thing today. Then another thing I want to comment on, I mean, it's a bit late to comment on that because we're about to hit January. It's never too late, right? We're the 31st. People are like, oh, 2025, I'm going to do this. Well, guess what? Do it fucking right now. Don't wait for 2025 to ring to start your shit up. Like me, I started my goals list probably 10th of December, my 2025 goals. And guess what? I've already started executing on most. So time is of the essence, and you need fast action. You cannot wait for external factors like the clock to ring 2025. The way time is like a human created notion, right? So just get into it right now. If you had goals, like if you're a fat fuck right now and you had like the goals to lose weight, well, guess what? Take your fucking shoes and go out right now. You've already wasted enough time. And the next thing I'm gonna say, because I don't want to sound like a Goggin or whoever coach out there that's like, do it, is that yeah, you can do it in a smart way. There's a smart way to do it as well. Yeah, it's like work long, hard, and smart. Jeff Bezos, right? It's not just about motivation; it's about patience. I had goals which took me years to crack, right? And habits, very bad habits that I had that took me years to crack. For example, watching porn, right? Like that was pretty toxic if you're in a committed relationship. And most young men out there are addicted to that. And yeah, it took me years to get off of it. The key to this is consistency. It's forgiving yourself also if you're constantly like getting back in the trap, right? Like if you're overeating as an overweight person, for example, well, you need forgiveness because else it will just create a downward spiral of energy, right? And you'll never really get out of that. So you need to forgive yourself. You need to have micro actions. You need to be consistent into that. So what kind of shape does that take? I sort of like some rewards, right? So and replacing some habits with others. For example, in the overweight category, um, try to drink more water when you feel hungry. Remove all the food from your fridge, right? So have all these, remove all the unhealthy food from the fridge. Have all these items in a checklist, and yeah, start rewarding yourself mentally when you do these. So yeah, if you went for let's say water and something healthier like oatmeal and apple, for example, instead of donuts, well, you're like, good job, Charles. And the fact that you do it mentally and you do not give yourself a reward physically is so much stronger when you're high performer. Because me, I don't often congratulate myself, right? Like maybe after an ultra marathon, and I will value that own congratulation. So you mentally congratulate yourself. Then the second thing is habit stacking. So when you start doing something positive, right? You stack the good habit. That is amazing. That is called momentum. You can stack another positive habit on the back of that. So let's say that yeah, you just took you're on the couch right now, right? Watching Netflix. First, turn off the TV. That's one reward. Good job, Charles. Taking your shoes on. Good job, Charles. Even that is good, right? Like just forging the habit of taking your shoe, even if you don't go run, just putting your shoes on. That is an extra step, right? So all the micro step, and we don't realize it, but all the greatness is created through micro steps before that. So taking your shoes off, shoes on, opening the door, going outside, right? And just walking. So walking is definitely a victory. Just walking. So these are all micro victories. And then guess what? Before you know it, you start running, right? You start running and then you come back home. You've done the physical exercise part. Now, because of that momentum, you feel good about yourself. You have serotonin in your brain, and now you can go for the water, the oatmeal, the apple, right? And that's a silly example, right? Because I came from so far on my end when it comes to diet and exercises. This video is not really about diets and exercise and so forth. It's mostly about the mental habits, the mental stacking that you can do to change and reach your goals. Life is hard. That's like a very important disclaimer. We all know that. And it takes extreme goals and extreme actions to be successful out there. So that's a bit of quote unquote wisdom when it comes to goal setting. Um, Questions that I have for you right now. How do you feel? You know, are you sluggish from like a week of partying during the holidays? Is that what you call a break? Is that self care? Will that scale? You know, will you evolve from what you did? Why do you indulge in so much? You know, why are you getting into these habits? Is there something? Is there like a toxic source that you need to change in your life? Is there such a source that needs to be purged from your life so that you can scale? Because a lot of people, they start from the top, right? But their bottom is unstable. They have chicken legs and huge arms. That's how most humans look nowadays. Fake ass pieces of human. So think about this. Also think of impossible goals that you've set before. Have you given up on them? Stuff that you've tried over and over for years and haven't been successful in changing. Very bad and toxic habits, or that impossible 1 million a year goal, for example. Can you give it another shot? Can you be more patient? Can you experiment more testing to reach that goal? Think about all of this. 2025, I mean, it's cool, it's time, right? But time is becoming more and more of a bullshit thing for me at the top. I don't care whether it's Monday or Saturday, it's all the same to me, which is amazing, by the way. It's an amazing life. My Mondays look like Saturdays nowadays. I can go out to restaurant, I can do anything that I want. I wake up at the time that I want. It's full freedom, right? And months, years, yeah, I don't. I'm adhering less and less to these notions, right? I mean, I'm an alien. I'm still connected to normal humans in my life in 2025 that will have these goals and so forth. But in reality, in this reality, like there's your environment, and there's your external environment, right? And reaching these goals do not only take big balls, but it takes like extreme patience, right? And it's not a choice. You absolutely need to aim high, to act fast and intensely, and to be extremely patient to live a fulfilling life, to reach your goals. Because once you reach your goals, you have the scientific proof that okay, this is doable. I can actually do that, right? So yeah, a bit of chaos in that video. I wanted to put out a couple of message out there. Um, it's not only working hard, it's working smart and working long, right? And that is the same in your personal and business life. That's not just for your business. So hope you could take some nuggets out of that chaos here today. Hope you spend a nice 2025 with your family, with your loved ones, and try to approach goal setting and thinking and acting differently than you did in the last years. If you feel that stuff have been materializing too slowly, that you've not been reaching your goals, and it's not like I'm on top of my shit either, right? Like it's not if I've mastered the game. I had huge results so far in this life. I haven't reached my moonshot yet, and that's the fun of it, right? Like imagine if I would have reached my moonshot by now, I'd probably not making that video, right? um so yeah, wishing you guys a good time, wishing you guys reflection, um internal reflection, and asking yourself the tough questions, introspection, right? Sitting down with yourself, meditating, journaling, listening to nice music with a view, and thinking about yourself, where you came from, right? Because we all came from someplace. Analyze yourself now. I had various realization with myself in the last couple of days, like fuck man, wow, you've built quite something for yourself, Charles. And yeah, what do I need to do to accomplish the next version of myself? What would that version of myself look like? By the way, there's this amazing song. One of my favorite song by Odessa is "This Version of You." This version of you. Listen to that one. It was my wedding song. Hey Charles. Hey Rosalind. So wishing you guys a nice year